Good morning. Welcome to morning medley number 211. 211? I actually mistakenly named it 206 before I started. I forgot that. Forgot how far we were. I forgot what week we were on. Hope everybody had a decent weekend. I'm going to start the stream off with Keyline. Good morning, Diz. Yeah, I want to know how to pronounce that name also. Wow, I haven't had Cinnamon Toast Crunch I want to say 7, 8 years. I did have cereal, but not Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I'm just saying I haven't had Cinnamon Toast Crunch in years. you get something good to eat, Cyber. Nazarov Vladimir? Well, thanks for being on the stream. Before I get so much, can you say what the genre of the game you're scoring is like? No, I don't think I can. I think I've said everything I'm legally allowed to say, which is that I am doing the score for a video game. What's up, Dar? What's the bone? What is GC? Sorry. Sorry, what does GC stand for? Group chat. Oh. Sorry. I don't really know much about the group chat. I'm not there, but go on. I was expecting Eleanor romance and Speed Dream, says Dar. Oh, okay. Okay, alright, sorry, it's early. Alright. I'm awake. Okay, Dar has a bone. Dar says, I was expecting an L and K romance in Speed Dream. Now, L and K, for anybody who doesn't know, it's a like a short story I wrote and then made a soundtrack to. So let me keep it going. Dar was expecting two characters to be romantically involved. And then Dar says K and JB can't the romantic subplot, and I died physically, says Dar. Izzy likes Speed Dream. Thank you. First of all, Dar, thank you for listening to Speed Dream. It actually means a lot. I know that it's not like the most widely what's the word? It's not the most widely it's not the most widely available piece of music I've made. I would say it's like second to the most like hard to find. So I appreciate you for making the trip or the effort to listen to it. First thing that I'm saying. Second thing that I'm saying is uh, the second thing that I'm gonna say is if you have any like I guess disappointments with the story, there's two things. First thing is the story's not complete, right? There's like it's actually really long. I know that it's made in chapters, and there's like that's like the first act. There's like several acts of Speed Dream. Think of Speed Dream as a mm, I like it. I like it today. It's a little weird actually. The watermelon was like especially red, and it's kind of changing the entire flavor of the thing. But anyways, Dar, think of Speed Dream as like the first book in a Harry Potter series. I mean, it's cool and it does tell one arc, I suppose. But if I would have only read the first Harry Potter book and then nothing else, I probably would have had uh, some things that maybe my opinions would have changed further in the story. Maybe some of them wouldn't. Like for one, I did not like Harry in the first book, and that never changed. So maybe some of your opinions would be the same if you listened to more Speed Dream. But I realize that's all of Speed Dream that's out. The first act is the only thing that's actually been released. So you do have to form opinions based off of that. Um, I'm sorry though, but I'm not gonna address the first thing you said. Your the first thing for reasons. I'm not gonna address that. But the second thing you say, where you're upset, or that you died when it was left on a cliffhanger. I mean, that was done intentionally. A lot of people that think that Speed Dream is its one encased piece of work, I would say people that usually don't come to the streams, because I've talked about Speed Dream a few times in the stream. I've talked about it a few times in the stream, and I think a lot of people that are in here know that there's more of Speed Dream, or that I had written and prepared more to be released. It just hasn't come out yet. But for people that maybe don't know me at all to any personal level outside of just Spotify and SoundCloud releases, they may think it's all done. And they may think that it was just it was like an artistic choice that ended on a cliffhanger, which I kind of like because if I like died tomorrow, I'm actually comfortable with Speed Dream ending on a cliffhanger, you know? I'm glad that I chose to end it that way instead of ending it more succinctly. Um, and resolving everything. But yeah, there's more of it. Um, yeah, yeah. Speed Dream's kind of long, guys. Speed Dream is the longest body of work I've ever made. Not as it stands right now, but like the full version of Speed Dream. Like if I showed you, which I won't, but if I showed you, like I think Cyber, just because I'm not like super like I'm not recording the things beforehand. They're all live when I'm doing my production stream. So when I've done my production stream, I have to like scroll through my songs on the right side, and like you can see there's like a two tone disco folder, and there's like a remixes folder, and there is a Speed Dream folder that has like three arcs in it, and like a fourth arc that's like halfway done. There's stuff in there, but thank you, Dars. Like honestly, like the most important thing to me right now is that you listen to it at all. If somebody listens to Speed Dream and they don't like it, they're like, I don't like these characters, or I don't like the choices that is being made with some of these characters. I don't like the way this character's voice, stuff like that. If people have problems with Speed Dream, I think I like that. I think I like that because at least they listened to it. They got through it. I would prefer somebody to go, yo, I hate the way this character is behaving. I prefer somebody doing that than to have somebody go, oh, I just didn't listen to it because it was uninteresting to me. So something can be interesting and frustrating at the same time. I'm glad that you were interested in Speed Dream Dar. Truly. I'm gonna thank you on behalf of everybody else that was a part of Speed Dream. I didn't make Speed Dream myself. I did write it, and like it is a short story of mine from years ago. Like I think I wrote the Speed Dream short. I used to write a lot of like poetry and short stories, and the Speed Dream short story I wrote in like 2013. No, I started writing it earlier than that. I started writing Speed Dream in 2010, 2009. Before then? Oh my god, I might have. Oh wow, I started writing a lot. I started writing it way before then. I was like a kid. The reason I started writing is because I used to go to a arcade and I used to play like a drifting video game, and it made me like I was like, oh, I like that because there's like a lot of racing games, right? There's like Cruis'n USA, there's Outrun and stuff like that. But there's this game that I played that wasn't Initial D. It was called Maximum Tune, Midnight Wangan, or Wangan Midnight. Doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter. But I was fascinated by it because it is similar to Initial D. It's like an anime racing game, so there's like characters and there's plot lines and stuff like that. And I was so unused to there being plot in a racing game. And I was like, I want to write a story that's built around racing. And so I wrote a Speed Dream. However, Speed Dream got rewritten. I rewrote it a few times, and then I ended up taking out a lot of the. I ironed it out and took out a lot of the details to make it work as an album, because I was like, this would be really cool to put out as a book, but I'm like, I'm not an author. I don't know the first thing about making a book, but I do know how to make music, and nobody's hiring me to score their thing, so I'm just gonna make it a audio book, but I'm gonna make the soundtrack to it and do some of the voices. So it was definite. It was like my pet project, my passion project, and nobody liked it when it was coming out. It used to release weekly. It was a new episode every Friday, I believe. So I would release one episode every Friday for 22, 20 something episodes. And people didn't like it as it was coming out, but I was really excited about it. And I was really happy that I was able to get my friends, because everybody that's on it is friends with me. The voice of Kay, her actual name is Kay. She was an artist for a while. She used to put out sample packs. The voice of Elle is Coma, who used to be really close friends with me. We don't hang out so much anymore. I don't know if it's a full blown falling out, but we don't hang out anymore. She hangs out with a different crew of people. I don't really go around that much anymore. But she was the voice of Elle. Another homie of mine who was in a band that booked me to play that show with Ivy and Sarasu is the voice of Officer J. Love them a lot. Who else was a voice in that? I've also had to rewrite some stuff because there's people that were my friends that were doing voices of them, and people that I'm either not friends with anymore or I don't work with anymore, and so that's initially why Speed Dream, the second arc was stalled, is the voice actors. It had nothing to do with me. I could write music all day, baby, but it was done because it's such a huge collaborative effort that it was hard to wrangle people together. For example, the project I'm working on right now, the game that I'm working on, has a producer, right? And I never really used to know what a producer did. Nobody really knows what producers do. Even music producers. People don't really know what we do. Some of you guys do, and I mean some of you, because you'll watch a production stream. But for the most part, people are just producer makes things. You're a music producer, you make music. You're a movie producer, I don't know, you make movies. But it's not always the case. There's a lot of different roles that go under the title producer, depending on what field you're in and what industry you're in. And particularly in games... Oh, darn. Hold on, because I'm going to get to that. So usually Usually when you're in games there's a producer, and I didn't know what a producer in games does, but a producer, at least the producer that I'm working with, kind of just like glues everything together, like make sure everybody's on task, like, hey, can you show me what you're working on? Hey, here's a deadline. Hey, get this together. Hey guys, so the investor, blah blah blah. Like they like are basically the mom of the project, and projects need a mom. And for Speed Dream, I was the writer of it and the I was scoring it, but I was also the producer. Like I had to make sure everybody was like getting also their work done, and I had to make sure people got me lines by a certain time. People were very very late. Some people were like procrastinators, and it's like since they're your homie and it's not like an official corporation, it's hard to be like, hey dude, you gotta like deadlines, baby. Like it's hard to do that to like your homie that's just doing this fun project for you. So sometimes that can be hard. And the art for Speed Dream, made by Mari, who is somebody else that I was also really, really good friends with. Um, yeah, it was just hard. Also, nobody lived in the same place. The only people that lived in the same place is me and Officer J. Both lived in California, but we lived 7 hours apart. You know, one person lived in Florida, one person lived in New York, one person lived in Canada. It's like everybody was so far, and I know with the internet it might seem like that wouldn't matter, but kind of does when you're trying to get people on the same page. Also, everybody's like recording things with different mics and sending them in, so it's like there's a different audio quality. So I'm trying to like mix them to make sure they're the same quality. I was learning how to do the Doppler effect in FL Studio, which was like, oh, guys, it was that was such a wild ride of free work for me. I worked harder on that than I have on a lot of things, and yeah, I was just paid in um, passion, I suppose. Anyways, Darth passed out when they heard Fiji. Yeah. So what I did also for it is I wanted to have every character have a voice actor and also a singer, which also was a lot of like a little bit of a nightmare because like L, is voiced by Coma, but then whenever L sings, she's voiced by Breezy, who is a singer that I was also friends with. Oh, oh, it's a lot. There, oh, it's a lot, guys. It is a ton. In fact, the song "The View," if you've heard the song The View is actually a. No, I don't want to say that because I don't want to say it. Anyways, it was a lot. I learned in college that if you are working with people on a project, it's hard to get them to do exactly what you want without paying them. This, even when you pay them. Even when you pay them. Sometimes it's still a nightmare. It's just an expensive nightmare then. No, I wanted to say not necessarily that because yeah, we know that the views cut from Speedrun, but I wanted to say something else about the views specifically with another song. Like the view isn't just the view. The reason the view is so short is because the view is part of a longer song that involves another singer slash other actor, another person that's than Speed Dream, and it takes on a completely different meaning. But rewrites, baby. So I rewrote that whole art. Anyways, point is, thank you, Dar, for listening to Speed Dream. I do really appreciate it. Speed Dream is my most beloved headache. The thing is a nightmare to work on, but I thoroughly enjoy working on Speed Dream. Maybe in 2021, maybe in 2021 we'll get something out. I have committed. I'm committed to not releasing anything for the rest of the year, guys. Which, if you're somebody that's bummed out to hear that, there is only like 4 more months for the year, right? So, I mean, yeah, this is like the only 4 more months. It's the end of August. So, if you're bummed to hear that, it's not that much time until next year. But I do really like no. I thoroughly enjoy no releasing this year. If you weren't in the production stream on Friday, I did a thing. I'm sorry, Umbe. It's okay though. We'll do another one sometime. We'll do another one. Like, I like the non-committal. We'll do another one sometime. I don't know. Definitely not this Friday. Maybe next Friday. Maybe it'll be an every other Friday thing. I don't know. I don't want to make any. I don't want to make any commitments that I want to stick to. But this, as an retrospect, it was pretty dumb to expect I could film the student lounge at what? Filming the student lounge at the pool table without having random chaos ensue. I mean, everything's a learning experience, right? But word up. I know how Dar feels about straight love. Um, also, something something really weird. There's something really weird about writing Speed Dream. Um, there's something really weird about writing Speed Dream, which is that I feel I don't I don't feel attached to any of the characters, but I know who the characters are. If that makes sense. I would be lying if I said that some of the characters weren't informed by people. Like any author, right? Like when you're writing something, there's bits and pieces of people you actually know in your characters. But something really weird started happening, and I had to stop it when I started writing the second arc. Some of the characters started becoming their voice actor. Like I got so used to hearing this voice come out of this character now, and this is also somebody I'm hanging out with and getting pizza, and so I'm starting to equate like J to Devin. And so now when I'm writing Jay, I'm like, that's not something Devin would do. And I was like, whoa, wait, what the heck is happening? What's going on? And so that was something that I had to like nip in the bud for the second arc, because it did start happening while I was writing it. I really like that chord progression, and I can't figure out if I've used it before or if I've heard somebody else uh, do it before. No, sorry, it goes. I would say that the only two like interesting parts of that chord progression are the last two chords. The heck, chords taking it to like a different. I don't want to say a different key because I don't know enough about keys to know if that is a different key, but I will say just to an unexpected place, like here. Maybe it'll go. But it goes. But it goes. It fits right back into the old way. Maybe that's how it works. I like that. I like it. I like it. If you told me to name one I didn't hate, I would not be able to do that, but I don't. That's funny. Hmm. Here's the thing, Dar. Um. See, there's a very important thing I want to point out to you and Speed Dream, but I don't want. But I, as a person making it, don't want to point that out to you. I want you to find it in Speed Dream yourself. I want you to find it. And I'm not saying go back and listen to Speed Dream. I'm just saying that maybe when I release like for future versions, something will start making sense. Um, it's not even like an Easter egg thing. It's just I hear you, Dar, but um, what you're saying Hmm. Hmm. I'm dancing. I'm dancing. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. And there is a very vital piece of information that I feel like either you know and you're not bringing up, or you don't know about Speed Green. Um, and something really interesting something really interesting about writing Speed Dream is only so much time can be put on character development, right? Like it's really hard to develop characters through songs, guys. And I'm saying that because there are like little skits, right, in Speed Dream, but not very long ones, you know. And no track is not a song. Like even the tracks that are like skits or conversations are intros to a song or outros to a song. So it's hard to do very deep character development without a very long expositional internal monologue. And I am not I am not a seasoned author at all. But I am saying that the characters have depth. The characters have depth. I did not write a thing with a bunch of two-dimensional characters. Now there are some very two-dimensional characters in Speed Dream that I love to pieces, but most of the characters have some stuff going on. I like quick gay. Time for quick gay. I also want to say, and then we can move on. I hate romance in general, like in anything. So, Speed Dream is not a love story. I can say that. That's something I can say without being like a bummer or spoiling anything. It's definitely not a love story. Well, if we get really, really like playful with what we're defining as a love story and what love is, then it's definitely a love story. But I would say it's not a romance. It's not a romance. So just chill, chill on the romance. And I don't want to say that ruin anybody's expectations of what Speed Dream grows and ends up being, but a romance is not it. I don't write romance stories or romance novels or romance albums. I don't feel there could be a very very good somebody could even make a good argument that Love Dream, which is all love songs technically, is I would say that that's a romance. It's just not a very happy one. I would say I don't feel like I and my history with romantic endeavors and encounters, I don't feel like I'm qualified to write a story that's romantic and also good. I feel like whatever I would write, you know how some people, this isn't even specific to authors, but just people that create stories. It could be a video game developer, right? Or it could be somebody that writes lyrics for a song. Sometimes people will say, "The song's horrible. I hate this. The lyrics or this story or the narrative is irresponsible. It reinforces X. X being a stand-in for any negative, harmful. Like this story shows that racism is good, or this story is very misogynistic, or this story is ageist, or this story, the people have like stories and people will critique it by going, this is bad because it reinforces or even praises this type of behavior, this type of thinking. I feel like that happens a lot. And then sometimes people will look to the author or the creator of the story, and the creator of the story will just go like, I don't know, that's what my life is like. I kind of just wrote what my life experience is like, and it wasn't supposed to be like a moral or like a lesson or something to learn by. This is just like what I know, unfortunately, and I don't know. I feel like that is what would happen if I did a if I tried to write a romance that felt real to me. I feel like it would be really awful, and it wouldn't make people feel good, and people would go, "This is actually really bad. Like this reinforces a lot of horrible things that happen in the world. I don't like this. This doesn't make me feel good. And then I would feel bad because I'm just like, that's what I know how to write. When I do look at like romances that are like maybe better, maybe more responsible, like narratively responsible, if that's even a term that can be used or is accurate. When I read those, they feel fake to me. You know, when you're looking at a sitcom and like something's wrong with you, not you. Oh my god, I projected on Full House. You know, when you're looking at like Full House and something's wrong with the kid, and then like Bob Saget sits down with the girls and he's like, "Yo, let's talk it out. Let's figure out like what's the problem with you." I remember looking at that as a kid and I'm like, that's not how families behave. Like, why is he talking to them like they're an adult? Like, that's not how that works. I remember thinking that was unrealistic. And then I remember meeting friends who did have that, and I was like, oh, that wasn't made up. That's a thing. I feel like if I wrote a love story, it would be awful, and people everywhere, not everywhere, some people would be like, yeah, it'd be like that. But I think some people would be very upset by seeing what that's like. Um, if that makes sense. I feel like romance is just an additional tag, says Ube. It's always like accompanied by something else. Like, yeah, romantic comedy, or like drama, romantic tragedy, romantic horror. Yeah, 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 yeah. What, did Ghost have any scary moments of it? I I vaguely remember, and Cyber, correct me if I'm wrong. I vaguely remember in the movie Ghost somebody being dragged away, like big shadow people coming and grabbing somebody. Either they were grabbing a bad person, maybe they were grabbing Whoopi Goldberg. I have no idea. Was Whoopi Goldberg even in Ghost? I don't know. I just remember there being like one creepy or two creepy scenes in that movie. Was that a romantic horror or was it just a romance? Because I feel like you're right. You have to also acknowledge the context of the time it was written, says Diz. See, Diz, I am with you on this, but I think most people don't do that. I think most people don't do that. And I'm not gonna blame most people for not doing that, because I'll feel away, right? If I perceive a story that feels wrong or bad, I'll be like, I don't like this. But oh my god, guys, you know what I just watched? Sorry, I'm like all over the place today, but I actually feel okay today. I think it's the fruit. I watched Ocean's 11 for the first time on Saturday. Not the George Clooney one, like the old one, the one with Frank Sinatra, which I embarrassingly didn't even know existed. I didn't know that Ocean's 11, like I knew Ocean's 11 was a reboot, but I didn't know that Ocean's 11 was a reboot of like a Rat Pack movie. And so I watched that and wow, I'm so glad I've seen that film now. I'm so glad I've seen that film. Anyways, Umbe says romance itself is probably extremely boring. I can't really think of a pure romance. No issues. Everything is good. Might not even exist. Talking about film, I feel you with that. I feel you with that. Yes. I feel the same way about any genre, right? We all have to have hybrid genres. Even a comedy that doesn't have action or drama would probably be dull to me after a while. There's even some pretty dope drama in Dumb and Dumber, and that's like slapstick, baby. Um, hmm. You need some other aspect of the genre to intersect to make it better, says Cyber. Yeah. I agree, Diz. I agree with you so hard um, about critiquing media. We only got to this thing because I was talking about how Speed Dream is not a romance. Speed Dream is not a romance. I think um, I think some people. There's not that many people here, so I'm not spoiling Speed Dream really. Even when I'm saying, even though it might be like slightly like I don't want to say it, there's only 10 people in here, which is fine. Because not only 10 people listen to Speed Dream. Speed Dream is not a story about romance, about people meeting through, I don't know, the art of speed racing and then finding love. That is not what Speed Dream is about. That's not what the Speed Dream's about. Um, Also, if we're talking about like morals to the story or whatever, actually don't think Speed Dream, because Speed Dream I have ended Speed Dream. Like I keep changing things here and there, but like a Speed Dream as far as like a beginning to end story, it is over. As far as on my end, it's ended. It hasn't all doesn't have all the music written, but as far as text, it has an ending. And by the ending, I actually don't know what I'm trying to teach anybody. I don't think I'm trying to teach anybody anything. I don't think there is a moral to it. Anyways, oh, this hasn't listened to Speed Dream? Hmm. Hmm. Also, at a point earlier, I want to say, earlier I said L was voiced by Coma Spice, but sung by Moist Breezy. That's untrue. L is voiced by Coma Spice and sung by Abby Press. K is voiced by K and sung by Moist Breezy. J is voiced by Devin and sung by me. And Fuge voices Fuge voices Officer J in the first arc. I was going to voice Officer J in the second arc. Sorry, sing Officer J. It's so confusing. I've confused myself now at this point. Um, no worries, Diz. No worries. If you haven't listened to Speed Dream, it's fine. It's whatever. I am probably going to go back to listing every bit of music at the end of the stream now because I feel like people just don't listen to them. And so I'm going to go back to listing them all. Probably it will be good for me too, just to know all the music I have out, right? Anywho, and Friday's production stream, I did a thing. Oh, remind me to talk about something really profound later, or profound to me. Anyways, I did a thing where I was playing Keyline backwards. And so I reversed Keyline. Backwards melody, and so I'm making a new version. I'm making a new song with that, and I love it so far, guys. I like. It feels like, it feels like old Omni. I keep doing this thing too. Let me talk about the thing before I forget what the thing was. Um. I like it. Anyways, do you ever have this thing where you go to a new place? It doesn't have to be a new country, guys. It doesn't even necessarily have to be a new state. Sometimes you can go to a new city in your state, depending on how big and diverse your state is. Hey, what's up, Eddie? Welcome to the stream. And you have this like, because you're experiencing only new things. A lot of your context has gone away, like new smells, maybe even a new temperature, new fashion, and you feel there's just not a word for it. Alien, I guess, but it's like a good alien. Maybe like when you like your vacation feel. Like I don't know how many of you guys have been on vacation. I haven't really been on a proper vacation, but I've traveled enough to kind of get this feeling where it's like everything around you is new and a little bit different, and you feel not excited, but you just feel like lit up a little bit. Like, oh, things are like, there's things. Feel like free. Yeah, Umbe's kind of touching. I think you understand what I'm saying. It's hard to explain. It's definitely hard to explain. You know it if you felt it. If you felt it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't felt it, whatever I'm saying doesn't sound. It's not going to make a lot of sense. Yeah, unidentified. It's like a weird feeling. Every now and then, guys, every now and then I will get that feeling in LA, and the temperature has to be a certain way. No, does it? I don't think it does. If it's lower temperatures, like lower, like being like 70s and high 60s, I'll get this weird. Sometimes I'll get this weird feeling in LA, like I don't live here, and I think it's because when I first came to LA, I'll just get that feeling. Some of the feeling, like when I first went to Hollywood. When I went to Hollywood for the first time, I remember how it felt, and living in LA for so long now, like a lot of that has melted away. I go anywhere in LA and it doesn't feel new. Even if I go to like a new area, it kind of feels just like just another corner of my city. Every now and then I'll get that feeling, like the feeling I got when I was in Japan, or the feeling I get when I walk around New York City, or the feeling I get in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I just wanted to name three places. I'm sorry, I named Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's not the greatest place to be, but I think I'm so hungry for travel. I think I'm so like stir crazy being in my specific neighborhood of LA for so long, so many months now, that like my body is like going through like weird travel withdrawals, and I'm just now feeling like I like went to where did I go yesterday? Where did I go yesterday? I don't even remember now. Where did I go yesterday? I'm still trying to think about where the heck I went. Oh, okay, so Panda Express sells boba here. That's actually not what the story's about, but that's where I was next to it, and I was next to it anyways. I was trying to go to Five Guys. Five Guys has been closed, and they're turning it into a Randy's Donuts. Which, if you've been to LA, you know what Randy's Donuts is. If you haven't been to LA, you might actually know what Randy's Donut is because it has a very iconic sign. The really giant donut. If you've seen the movie Iron Man, you've seen Randy's Donuts. So the I was going to Five Guys. Five Guys is turning into Randy's Donuts, and Randy's Donuts is opening on Thursday, and they're giving out free glazed donuts. So I opened up my calendar. I opened up my calendar, and I felt a sense of pride as I put into Thursday. Go to Randy's, free glazed donut, and that was the first thing that I've entered into my calendar in since the Sonic movie came out. That was the last thing I put in my calendar. It's pretty bleak, guys. It's really. I mean, rent is there, but that's like an automatic thing. Google just puts that on the first to remind me not to get evicted. I started just walking around for no reason, says Eddie, going to weird corners of my neighborhood. Sometimes that feels good, Eddie. Eddie never liked Five Guys that much. People ruined it for me. I don't particularly like Five Guys that much. It's just a good burger. It's just a chill burger. It's not delicious. I can make it at home. Like it tastes like a home burger. It tastes like a burger I literally could make at home if I just had beef and not even amazing buns and a bunch of tinfoil. Like it's not amazing. I think I just like it because California is so obsessed with burgers. There's just burgers everywhere. Like everywhere, guys. Everything is burgers. Very diverse food, all around the city, but it's like California has this thing. Like I thought burgers were an American thing. Like as far as popularity, like America loves a good hamburger, and that's true. But California is like on some weird different level where it's like everything is every place, everywhere. Burger, 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 cheeseburger. Everybody's got their own like special sauce. It's like In-N-Out has that sauce. McDonald's has a Mac sauce, both of which are from California, by the way. And then there's just a slew of other burger places with the same like your lettuce, your tomatoes, the burger bun, the cheese, and then this weird orangish yellow special sauce. It's like everything is burgers. I'm so tired of burgers. Like Rick's Burgers, Bob's Burgers. It's just there actually is a Bob's Burgers, by the way. It's just any dude's name with burger put on the end of it. Tommy's Burgers. And it's all basically the same thing, guys. Cheeseburger. I miss cheeseburger. By the way, Cyber. By the way, cheeseburger. Just burgers. I I'm not saying burgers are disgusting, but I'm just saying there's so many burgers here that I could go a week eating nothing but burgers. And because of this, Five Guys isn't a great burger, but it's just something to mix things up. I don't want to have In and Out or Habit or, I mean, McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, Jack in the Box. I don't want to have any of those things. And so it's like, okay, do I go to Tommy's? I don't really want to get that either. Five Guys, and it's like, oh, I haven't had Five Guys in 4 months. That's the only thing that I like about Five Guys. It switches things up a little bit. That's it. That's it. Also, they give a lot of fries, which I kind of like. I like a lot of potato. I have a really starch-heavy diet. I thought Cali being by the water, they'd be a big seafood, but it's all burgers for some reason. Yeah. I mean, the Bay, I feel like the Bay. I mean, if you're close to the water, there's like a lot of dope seafood, right? Because the Bay's got some chill seafood, and like even down here, like San Diego's got some chill seafood. But I mean, California is big, so there's so much of California that is like 4 hours from the ocean. So it is mostly it's just burgers, baby. It's burgers everywhere. I remember being a kid and visiting the East Coast with my dad, and he threw a fit because McDonald's didn't have the double quarter pounder with cheese there. Yeah, screw New York. Oh wait, did you even say New York? it said East Coast. I'm joking. I like New York. I like New York a lot. But yeah. What's New York know about a hamburger? Eddie says French McDonald's says French McDonald's got the 280. Never realized it was exclusive to France until I moved out. Yeah, regional McDonald's stuff is really weird. I still haven't been near the water in Cali. I've only been to LA. What? Oh, do you mean like you've only been like? Because LA is the water, but you're just saying you've been to like Central LA, East LA. Like you haven't been to West LA. Is that what you're saying, Umbe? I haven't played much. Sorry. You guys want? You guys want? You want that one? Central LA, baby. Central LA. I like Central LA. Screw West LA. Screw Manhattan Beach. Screw Redondo Beach. Screw what's the other stupid one? Screw Hermosa Beach. Screw Santa Monica, Venice. Screw Malibu while we're at it. Screw Culver City. Screw Century City. Screw Bel Air. Screw Beverly Hills. Screw Beverly. Screw Hollywood. Screw South Hollywood. Screw West Hollywood. Screw North Hollywood. Screw MacArthur Park. No. MacArthur Park's actually pretty cool. MacArthur Park's cool. I take that back. Um, Koreatown's dope. Koreatown can stay. Filipino Town can stay. Little Italy. Screw Little Italy. Thai Town can stay. Little Ethiopia can stay. Compton and Watts can both stay. Screw Rosecrans, that whole area. Screw Boyle Heights. No, Boyle Heights can stay, sorry. Boyle Heights is getting like hard gentrified right now. So shouts out in solidarity to everybody in Boyle Heights that's currently dealing with that, because that is a nightmare. Screw any place that ends with hills. Screw any place that ends with park. I'm counting Echo Park and Highland Park and Monterey Park in that, and Hollywood Park in that. Screw any place that ends with. Oh my god. Okay. Chill. I just don't particularly care for West Los Angeles. West LA is basically a completely different state than East and Central LA. East and Central LA, mostly families. Any of you guys have seen like the shot? The shot of like, I'm not gonna pick up my phone, but you've seen the shot of like out of my front window where it's like cul-de-sac, kids, palm trees, telephone wires. That's like central East LA. Downtown, tall buildings, all that. That's like East and Central LA, dope. West LA is like, I don't know, Tesla's, bikinis, overpriced food, egg slut, egg slut, egg slut, another egg slut for some reason. Uh, is that it? Rodeo Drive. I don't know. No, I'm joking. There's a really cool place called Clearwater Canyon in West LA. West LA does have like some pretty cool visual things. Like it's nature. Sometimes like the cliffs by the ocean is pretty cool looking. But oh, you can hear the parrots. Yeah, East LA has parrots. West LA doesn't have that. All they got is freaking. What does West LA have actually? Seagulls, I guess. You want seagulls over parrots? Hmm. West LA's trash. California really do almost take up the whole height of the country. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yerpadoodle doo. That's why whenever anybody is like, I mean, people don't do this anymore because COVID, so nobody's traveling. But I used to get weekly texts from people that were just like, "Yo, I'm in your hood. I'm in your hood. I'm in Cali. Oh wow, it's sunny out here. I'm trying to get away from the cold back in New York." And I'm like, "Word up." They're like, "We should meet up." And I'm like, "Where you at?" And I'm like, "I'm in San Francisco." And I'm like, "Oh, sick. You're an 8-hour drive from me. I'm not going to see you." And they're like, "No, no. It's like can't be that long. It can't be that long of a drive. We're both in California." I'm like, "Nah, baby. That's not that's not the same state as me. That's not the same state." Even people that'll be like in San Diego, they're like, "I'm in San Diego. How far is that from LA?" And I'm like, "It's 2 hours, like 2 hours minimum to get to you. I'm not gonna drive down there. I'm not gonna get in my car for 2 hours to hang out with you for 20 minutes." Anyways, California is a small country. Almost literally says Umbe. Yeah, it's very very big. LA on average seems like a toxic waste dump. Ay ay ay. Yikes. These are harsh words. Um, listen, LA on average seems like a toxic waste dump. Hmm. Hmm. LA is not clean. I've been to very clean cities. We had a whole stream where we talked about how clean Japan was. We talked for like an hour and a half about how clean Japan was and why that is. LA is not Tokyo. It's not clean. However, I'm gonna say it's cleaner than New York. Not because New Yorkers are dirtier, but because New York is way more congested, so it's more people packed in, so it's filthier. LA's a little bit more spread out, so same amount of filth, but it's just spread out in a long surface area. I would not say that LA seems like a toxic waste dump. It's pretty harsh. But I would say that LA is disgustingly dirty in certain areas. It is not a clean city. Um, Now, is Bel Air clean? Yeah. Is Beverly Hills clean? Yes. Is Santa Monica clean? Sure. Is Culver City clean? Yeah. If you're in West LA, if you're in the rich areas, sure, it's super clean. But like at your average LA, like you said, like the average uh, low to middle class household is in an area that isn't super clean. Um, but it's not like there's like newspapers stuff like that flying everywhere. It's just it's not Tulsa, Oklahoma. Second Tulsa I mentioned in the stream. Just fire by that definition. Cali is no longer on fire. I feel like California's always on fire somewhere. I feel like sometimes just the fire gets close to people and then. But it's like I feel like there's always a fire in California burning somewhere. Eddie likes the gang member pigeons. I love urban pigeons. That probably isn't exactly what I was talking about, says Diz. Oh, my bad, Diz. Um, you know what shocked me about New York, says Eddie? The pizza? Oh, the smell of Times Square. Oh, I mean, you could scratch out Times Square, and you could just say the entire city. That city smells like garbage and pee. But yeah. Times Square doesn't smell great. Um, I used to have a joke that every time I went to New York on tour, I would always hang out with my friends, and I would make them take me to Times Square. Because I know everybody in New York hates Times Square. Nobody likes going there. It's like if somebody showed up here and they're like, take me to Hollywood Boulevard. I wouldn't want to take them there, but they do it, and I take them. And so I would do that to my New Yorker friends. I would just be like, oh, take me to Times Square. And then I would walk into like, just like stupid stuff. There's a Disney store there. There's a line store there now, though, which, is worth the trip. But fun fact says Times Square used to actually be trashier than any Vegas Strip. Now it's just trash. Yeah. Yes, it did. Oh, whoa! This got me. This wasn't talking about toxic wastes and filth. This was talking about toxic wastes and mentality. I would say that is a reputation more earned by, I don't know, Texas than Los Angeles. I don't actually think the mentality in Los Angeles is that bad. I would say that as far as the country goes, it, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on your stance, it's probably ranked pretty high on the mentality of the country, which I would even argue is kind of sad. But I would say that mentality gets a little bit more toxic in Texas. Love for Texas, by the way. I love Whataburger and Dallas Cowboys and roadhouses. I don't know. I don't know that much about Texas culture other than what I've experienced on tour there. I was in an alley in Times Square, and the smell was exactly the same as when I was a very poor part of my African home country, says Eddie. To be in the most expensive place on earth and smelling what I smelled in the poorest place I've ever been, it was super trippy. That's actually a really cool, cool being a weird word to use here, but that's a pretty cool observation to make, right? Even in the most expensive and wealthiest cities, we still have that, because even LA could be said the same thing. It's like every bougie whoever lives in LA and has like fancy whatever, and you got Teslas running all over the place, and Ellen DeGeneres, running around through malls doing Ellen stuff. And then, the city does smell like pee, and we do have a very, very large homeless population. So large so that there's a whole district of the city designated for them called Skid Row. So it's like, it's weird. It is weird that like what's the word I'm looking for? Not superlatives, that would also work here. The extremes, right? The extremes. You have like the extremely rich and then the extremely poor. And you have the extremely nice and clean and then the extremely dirty and run down, all existing in the same city. All existing in the same city. You haven't experienced New York until you got that awful smell on the train ride home. I like that smell, Umbe. No, okay, alright. You got the tenderloin in San Francisco. Liana, first of all, I like the tenderloin, and I think I like the tenderloin because of its name. I also, because somebody was like, oh, it's shaped like a tenderloin, and I disagree. I did not think that it's shaped like a tenderloin, but I have been there. And as somebody that doesn't have to live anywhere around that, or live in San Francisco, which is a city I strongly despise, I don't mind it. Apparently, the name came from business owners getting cops tenderloins to look the other way in that area. talk about that. I don't want to talk about cops in the stream. I don't want to talk about cops taking tenderloins as payment. Um, I thought it was called that because it was shaped like a tenderloin. I was told. I was told that's why it was called that. That's wild. Now I know how to get rid of the cops when they come to the cul-de-sac. Those babies cannot refuse a raw tenderloin. I'm assuming the tenderloin was raw. I'm assuming. Guys, if you haven't been to San Francisco, please go. It's just like Crazy Taxi. It's just like Crazy Taxi. And he says, if you get the turn of wine, you turn into a. Oh, Eddie, don't do that. Don't do that. Boys in blue, baby, boys in blue. What is that? What do they say? Is that what they say? Man says, no, just see tons of homeless doing drugs. It's sad, says Liana. Avoid the tender wine, please. Yeah. It's interesting that a lot of the bigger cities do have like a designated area now. I feel like the gap is just the class gap. It's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Because San Francisco arguably is making more money as a city now than it's ever made. But look at it. This says, I'd love to go to San Francisco as a kid and didn't know things. I feel you. I mean, just not knowing things as a kid can be great, right? Great in general. There is a guy that lived in I've talked about this man before. He lived in my apartment complex, and he always had so many video games, and I'm pretty sure he lived alone. He lived all the way at the end. He was my friend's neighbor. We all lived in the same apartment complex, but he was at the very end, and I remember like we'd be like messing around like talking about Dragon Ball Z, and he would like say something offhanded. He was like an adult, like he had to have been late 20s, early 30s, and he would like be like, yeah, blah blah blah, Vegeta, and we were just like, yo, this grown up knows like cool stuff, like he's cool. And then we'd be talking about Final Fantasy, and he was like, oh, I beat that one, like where are you guys at on that? And I'm just like, oh, this dude's so sick, like I like this guy, like we should have this guy around more often. And then one day he moved. I think he was just selling a lot of his stuff, and I remember I bought like several. Well, I didn't buy it. My mom bought like several of his games, and Anthony's mom bought several of his games too, and memory cards. And I remember like that dude had played everything. Like I was looking through like his like save data, and it's like he had poured like hundreds of hours into like Legend of Mana and stuff like that. And I was like, this dude's sick. And I remember like getting games, like renting games from Blockbuster, but already having like the wildest, most like dope, strong character because of Homie. Why am I talking about? Oh yeah, because like as a kid, he was just like a cool dude, I guess. But now that I'm an adult, sometimes I think about it and I'm like, what was his life? Like, what was he doing? What did he have going on? It wasn't exactly a cool area to live in, and he didn't seem to like do anything. In fact, I think I might be him now. Like, if there was a kid that was like looking at me and they're like, "This fool like seems to know a lot about video games," and they were just like, "Homie like doesn't do anything though." Like, I never see him like put on like a Best Buy uniform and like drive to work. And yeah, I don't know. Am I him? I hope that guy's okay. Anyways, I love doing that with rented games at stores and stuff. Says Cyber. Reading someone else's. Yeah, it's like reading someone else's diary. It can be cool sometimes. Um, the weirdest example of that in my life, says Cyber, is going through a copy of Final Fantasy IV data and it had all sorts of max level stuff pretty early on in the game. That's so weird. Oh, Game Genies. I still don't really understand Game Genie. I remember my friend Miles had Game Genie, and he also had Game Shark. I don't really know enough about either of those to know why, like, if they were competitors or if they were like for two different consoles, or like I didn't really know how Game Genie worked because the codes seemed weird. Like when you looked into a code magazine, because they had magazines that were just filled with video game codes, which by the way was insane because I would just go to the store and like look up the page and then like write them all down. That's how I got all my Grand Theft Auto 3 codes. But anyways, like it would also have a whole section for Game Genie or Game Shark codes, and the codes were like numbers and stuff. And I'm like, how do you put in numbers? It's a. Anyways, I'm sure there's a thing. I'm sure it makes sense. It's just I never actually used one, so I didn't understand how they worked. Lindsay's heading out. Goodbye, Lindsay. Thank you for being in the stream. Appreciate you here, as per usual, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your Monday. Monday. I'm supposed to be doing something today. I'm gonna have to check what that is later. Are codes still a thing nowadays? I guess if a developer's trying to intentionally be retro, but I feel like now people just hack games. Now the community are the codes. I think most games just have a cheat menu. We'll make a cheat gear part of the game as an Easter egg or some game content says, don't they? I used to have a giant book called the Big Book of Cheats. That's dope. Is. I would say the only game I actually used codes for. I used codes for Grand Theft Auto 3. Because it just made it more fun, I guess. And I used codes for Tony Hawk. But I don't even remember what the codes were. I think the code was like for infinite grind, so I didn't have to like do the balancing thing. I was just always at perfect balance grinding. And I think I used big head mode on literally any game I rented that had a big head mode code. There are some games that I actually rented just because I saw in the cheat magazine that it had big head mode. For whatever reason, as a kid, big head mode was like it. It was the best cheat. It was the best code. I I wouldn't even laugh. Like it wasn't even funny to me. But if I played a game, I had to play it on big head mode. I think Spider-Man had a big head mode also. I just I got so like the look of big head was like normalized to me at that point. Where if I ever played a game without big head mode, it looked like everybody's head was too small. I needed a big head mode. Anyways, those are the only codes I really use. I very rarely used codes to beat a game. I usually just use them to like goof off in the game. He says I only remember being stuck on the first boss in Wind Waker, and then then I went to a kiosk with my dad and saw a magazine with solutions. Only time I cheated at a game. Those cheat code books came out for like 10 years, says Ube, and every book fair, I pick them up, and it would be the same cheats and games every year with two games at the Navy. That's pretty funny. I love me some big head mode though. But um, pertaining to what Eddie said about using a cheat to beat a game, I think that I was just stupid as a kid. Like I would thoroughly like to go back and play all those games that stumped me. Games that stumped me like Legend of Dragoon was like I just got to a point where it was too hard to continue. Um, it's another one. There was a few though. There was just a few games. Like I never beat a lot of games, and I feel like honestly, if I can go back now, like the list of like quote unquote hard games I've beat now, with not ease, but with just determination and hard work, it's like, oh, I can beat everything. Like when I was a kid, beating a game was not a guarantee. Now as an adult, beating a game is more of like it's just a time thing where it's like, oh, I need to like beat this game so I can do other things in my life. It's not like if I beat it, it's just when I beat it. And I think as a kid, it wasn't a guarantee. Sometimes I would rent a game or even get a game, for a gift at Christmas or something, and it's just like I would look at it and go, there's a very real possibility that I will not beat this. Like that it's just too hard. And a lot of times it was true. A lot of times games were just too hard. I think one of the first games that I beat, um, like for example, I never beat Final Fantasy VIII. And whenever I would meet somebody that said they said they had beaten a Final Fantasy, in my brain I was just like, how? I don't get how people can beat those games. Not only are they super long, but the boss is just like you can't see a health bar, so you don't even know how many times you have to hit this idiot. And it's like you have to get hit because it's a turn-based battle system. You can't even like dodge or block, and so I just didn't understand how people were like beating these games of attrition. Um, and even to this day, yeah, whenever I see a turn-based battle system game, I'm always kind of like, there's a chance I won't beat that. Uh, but games like Kingdom Hearts, yeah, it was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna beat this game, and I did. Mm, mm, mm. Oh, thanks, Cyber. What's Cloudberry Kingdom final stages? What's Cloudberry Kingdom period? Is this a platformer? Is this 211? Of course it's a friggin' organ. Thank you, Liana, for being here. I'm glad that I was able to squeeze out a. Oh, I didn't finish it though. I was gonna do double Lutz. I think I just played half of double Lutz. I'm sorry, Liana. I'm a little scatterbrained this morning. Um, do they? Do they obey? Hope you enjoy the rest of your Monday. Wow, I'm really trying to rescue this week, huh? Hope you enjoy the rest of your Monday, Liana. Thank you so much for being on the stream. We're at what 1:30. This is good. This is good. I like this. Maybe wrapping it up. At a clean 2 hours. 2020 has finally destroyed my will to make music right now. Says Umbe. Is there anything I can do, Umbe? Do you feel comfortable with this loss of will? Do you feel fine? Like maybe do you feel like you found that will has been directed somewhere else, or do you miss it? Do you wish you did have the will to make music right now, Umbe? No. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Hmm. Because I do miss it, but it's probably for the best not to produce right now. I don't think I'd make anything good currently. Hmm. I feel you, Umbe. I feel you, Umbe. I don't think that any of my quote unquote best work has quite come out this year, right? It's been hard as far as inspiration and just, staying on a semi regular production schedule. Cyber says some people think that egg salad is the best type of chicken salad. Uh-oh. Is egg salad a type of chicken salad? Cyber? I might bum somebody out in the stream, but I have never had egg salad. At least not to my. I don't remember having egg salad. Potato salad is the only like wet salad I've. I don't know what to call them. I'm saying wet salad, but you know what I mean. Like salads you eat with a spoon. Potato salad is the only spoon salad I've ever eaten. I've never had chicken salad or egg salad. Oh right, because chickens come from eggs. Okay. I've still never had either of them though. Are they like potato salad? Tuna salad? I think I'm thinking of tuna. What makes something a salad exactly? Cyber, is it just mashing something up and then putting mayonnaise in it? Like, uh, with egg salad, chicken salad, and tuna salad and potato salad, are the egg, tuna, chicken, and potato the only unique ingredients mixed with you know, the same. I don't even know what I'm trying to say right now. I hope you get it. But salad would conceivably have some kind of vegetable base. Posits Cyber. Salad is a mixture of things without a broth, in my opinion, says Soothsayer. Oh, interesting take. A salad is just a mix of things. So anything that's a mix, that isn't a soup, is a salad, which maybe is why that place is called Super Salad. They're the same thing. One's wet, one's also wet, but not a soup. Very interesting. Macaroni salad. Macaroni salad is a salad, I suppose. I don't know what else is in there, be cold, says Eddie, to be a salad. A bowl of cereal is soup, says Eddie, going off on another wild tangent. I'm just trying to figure out salad. Um, a cold dish of various mixtures of raw or cooked vegetables, usually seasoned with oil, vinegar, or other dressing, and sometimes accompanied by meat, fish, or other ingredients. That's just everything. Or a mixture containing a specified ingredient served with a dressing. So fruit salad is a lie. No, that sounds. I'm just gonna say it's just a mix of thing, a mashing up. Chicken salad is just chicken and a bunch of vegetables all mashed together, and I guess mayonnaise. Um, Tuna salad is tuna with a bunch of I'm making myself sick. I don't like any of these things. I don't like seeing someone eat tuna salad like makes me like really uncomfortable. That stuff looks. I know not everything tastes as bad as it looks, but tuna salad like it looks like a practical effect from a horror film. Um, oh, okay. The mayo is dressing. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. That's so weird. It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't work. What if I did? Yeah, you can't change it. You can't change it, baby. You can do that. You can't change it. Okay, enough salad. Enough salad talk, guys. We're at 140. We're at about 140. Um, do you want to talk about a couple of hmm. Sorry. I want to talk about a couple of pieces of music. So the first piece of music that I want to talk about is that thing that I was messing with on Friday, which was like just key line backwards, right? This one. That song, its origins, come from Daydream. Daydream is the key line. Comes from Daydream. I want to try to recontextualize quite a few of my songs. I mean, key lime is pretty easy because key lime has, I don't know what it is. Key lime, in the key lime chord progression, this all makes sense. makes sense. But this chord here, I don't know exactly how that chord works in the key of whatever key line it key of key line. I don't know exactly how this chord works in the key of key line. And for that reason, I feel like it throws off the chord progression a little bit because all the other chords that are in it, this one, this one, this one. Oh yeah, this one. Those are all in the same key. But specifically this one has a weird quality to it. And so playing it backwards, even when it gets to that chord, it still has that weird like break in the key. Still has, when he gets to that chord, it has that. And since I played that, just by messing around with picking out chords from my vocabulary, because I have a lot of chords kind of in my vocabulary. Sorry, hold on. Let me try to catch up on the chat really quick first. Okay. We're talking about Pizza Party link. But I have several chords in my vocabulary, but I don't have them organized necessarily by key, nor do I have them organized by relevance to one another. So a lot of times when I'm making a chord progression for a song, for example, the one that I played at the very beginning of the stream. Let me think of how did that one start. It goes da, da. Oh, so it's here. A chord that I play a lot. This is the first chord of I Miss You. And it even goes through some of the same chords, because this is also the second chord from I Miss You, and this is the third chord from I Miss You. So it does have those the same three chords in the very beginning. It just switches up halfway through. So it goes here, there, and then here, and then here. And usually that would be your looping point, right? You would go... Which is good and pretty and something that I could put in a song. But when I'm pulling out chords from my chord vocabulary, a chord that I also play is this chord, which has a very nice, to me it has a very nice sound, those chords. I like those chords. And so I just went ahead and threw it in there. I think that chord was used in my Charlie XCX remix. Focus on my love, focus on my, just want you to focus on my... Anyways, I pulled that chord in and I put it into this chord progression, and it doesn't necessarily sound like it fits when I play this chord progression. It doesn't sound like it would fit to suddenly throw in this chord in there, but I tacked it on the very end. So tack it in there, and if I'm gonna put that in as like the fifth chord in the progression, it didn't feel right to go right back into this, which feels like a happy chord. This feels, if we're trying to just give like vague terms or vague adjectives to chords, this to me feels slightly happier and more open and optimistic than this chord, which seems kind of weird and dissonant and maybe even sad? At least serious, right? More serious than this one. And so, going through that chord progression again, going 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll do it again. the same chord for that long. A lot of time melody can open up chords, like having a melody on top of it can make so that the chord doesn't feel so monotonous or like it's not really moving much at all. And so instead of just having that one chord, I added this chord. And then I went back into the chord progression. And so it has a little bit more of a, it feels like it's more well-rounded, because I can go between these two chords all day, these two. And it'll sound fine, like 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1, bang, 2, 1 into 2. But putting those at the end of this already like kind of established, descending chord progression, makes it kind of sound like the keys changing, because those two chords, this chord, or this chord, that chord, and this chord, don't appear or occur in the same keys as this one does, or these intro chords do. Which is why these opening 4 chords make sense. They're almost even predictable in a way. You kind of already know what the last chord is going to be after you hear the first 3. Until I add this one. Then it kind of gives a sense of maybe mystery or at least variety to the chord progression. A lot of times I'll do this in chord progressions just so that I, as the performer, don't get bored playing them. But sometimes I also do it as because I assume, I make a very, very ill-placed assumption that everybody listens to the music the way that I do, which as a music maker or an artist in general, it's really hard to take into consideration when you're making things. It's hard to take into consideration when you're making things that everybody else doesn't have the same ear or eye or whatever that you do. And I know that if I played just these chord progressions over, I, as a performer, might get bored playing them. And I, as a listener, might even get bored listening to it. So throwing in these different chords at the end of it makes it more interesting to me. And those chords came from like my bag of chords. Like when I think of chords, I kind of just think of them as being a lot of things I've played before, and I have maybe even put in some songs, so I have a decent physical memory of them. Even if I don't have a sonic memory of them, like I know what this chord is even before I've hit them. I don't know what it sounds like. I don't know what it sounds like, but I know what the like physical form of it is. And it's like now that I've played it, I know, oh, like that's what that chord sounds like. And so a lot of times when I'm like improving, or when I'm putting together a new chord progression, or when I'm making a song, whether you're in the stream for Monday through Thursday or you're in the production stream, sometimes you'll kind of just see me cycle through a lot of like mental, physical, like mental chords that I have being mental like I know them, but physical in that they're just hand motions to me, because I don't know what they sound like. So a lot of times when I'm coming up with like a chord progression, and I'm like here, I didn't quite like the way that transition sounded from here. It like changes too much. It's like almost too jarring. But I didn't know that before I played the chord. I just know a lot of hand positions because I've been improvising and playing enough to where it's like I know what certain chords feel like, but I don't always know what they sound like. So a lot of times when I'm improvising and I'm kind of cycling through chords, I'm like, oh, that one doesn't work, and I'll start over again. I'll go. Sound good, and I'll start over it. I'm like, oh, that sounds okay. But it's not because I knew it was going to fit with it. It's not because I knew that they were in the same key or adjacent keys or anything like that. It's just that that is a chord in like my bag of chords or my vocabulary of chords, and I'm just kind of throwing a bunch of vocabulary at a progression until one does something interesting to me specifically. And so that's where that chord progression came from. later chord progressions have come from that. Uh, like the only reason that a lot of my compositions feel directed or feel like they're informed is because you guys are seeing the final product or hearing rather the final product. But for people that have like been in production streams with me or been in morning medleys with me when I'm trying to come up with a song, you'll forget the bad chords, right? Like when I'm coming up with what's a song I've made recently in the stream. Liminality. Like that song sounds intentional and it sounds like it's been made with a lot of information. But that's because I've played that version of it so many times in the stream, and for people that were here before Liminality had a name and I was just trying out chords and melodies, you remember there was a lot of like bad notes and bad chords that didn't work out, so I got rid of them. And a lot of the choices in Liminality weren't necessarily made because I wanted to stay in a certain key or because I was trying to do theoretical musical movements. It was just that I was pulling melodies and ideas out of my vocabulary of what I know how to do on the piano and trying out pieces, and sometimes the pieces don't work. This happens a lot, though. Umbe says, I just hear it out and brute force the pitches I want. Doesn't help me play piano, though, says Umbe, which is a good point. Yeah, like if I'm trying to come up with a melody, and I'm going to address that point, Umbe, when I try to come up with a melody, it's a random melody. And I can build a song around that melody. No. 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 Maybe. Yes. Maybe. You can like, I can find a melody by playing around the piano, by brute forcing it, like the way you say, and it maybe doesn't necessarily make me better at piano, not immediately, Umbe, absolutely. But I will say openly and transparently that if I try to go and find that melody on the piano as quick as I did just now, if I tried to do that even 4 years ago, it would not have gone that quick or that smoothly. Nor would I have been able to contextualize chords underneath it to give it a sense of, narrative. I think that you saying brute forcing your way through it doesn't necessarily make you better at piano, but it does. It just does in such a small incremental way that you kind of have to brute force your way a lot in order to see physical or visual improvements in you being able to play piano. But I would say that anytime you spin on a piano, whether it's brute force or heavily theoretical informed choices you're making on the piano, you are improving. As a brute myself, it definitely helps. Yes. Speaking of that, Omni, did you follow a chart or something when making the GameCube theme that you did? No. Okay, so here's the funny thing, Cyber. Here's the funny thing. So, no, I did not. In the the feedback. I wish I could show you the. I wish I could show you the feedback from. Um, I wish I could show you the feedback from my Instagram messages. So there's two types of responses I got to that story. One of the responses is people going like, "Yo, there's mad. You missed this note. There's like an F sharp that's supposed to be in there. You didn't even do this in the right key. This isn't the key that it's supposed." Like I got responses like that, and then I got responses that were people were like, "Yo, this is amazing. Like, how did you do this by ear? Like, did you have to like look it up? Did you have to look up sheet music or something like that?" So it's like, I think to people that aren't music brain, galaxy brain people, what I did on my Instagram story with the GameCube startup thing was horrible and it was offensive and it was stupid. But to people that don't necessarily spend that much like time looking at like micro stuff on like the GameCube startup thing, they were like, "Oh, this is sick. Like, how did you do this? It was amazing." So, no, I didn't look up a chart, but I could have. Maybe if I did, maybe if I did the. You know what? No, actually, I take that back. If I looked up a chart and then did it, all of the like super elitist like music people still would have been pissed. So you can't please everybody. I regret doing it though. As soon as the responses started rolling, and I was like, oh, I should not have done this. It's like this was bad. This is a bad move. This is a bad move in the Omniverse. I feel like I try to stray away from doing like things like covers for that exact reason, because the only responses you get are people that are like, "Hey, this is actually pretty cool," that don't do music stuff, and then you get people who are music that are just like, "This is wrong. You butchered the original." Um, they were really upset. I didn't realize how many people revered the GameCube startup noise. By the way, I've never owned a GameCube. I've never owned a GameCube, so I didn't exactly hear that in my childhood. That's something that I've only heard as an adult. But um, I, I feel like I was like tramping on hollowed ground or something like that. I didn't mean to offend anybody that's like a Nintendo head. I wasn't like trying to impress or offend. I was just bored, and you know why I actually did that? You want to know why I did that? Um, Cyber, this will actually be like a cool. This will actually be a really good closing conversation. Hold on. There's a reason why I did that. Oh my god, and it ties into what I was talking about earlier in the stream. Okay, so I'm not gonna pull up the song. Ugh, he's so good. You ever just you're ever just amazed by a music person? You ever just amazed by a musician and you're just like, how are they this good? It's like almost frustrating that they're that good. What's his name? What's his name? Sorry, hang with me, guys. Hang with me. I'm not. Um, hang with me. Hang with me. I'm gonna figure this out. That's a lie. That's a weird, big, stupid lie. That's not true. I don't. Hold on. Hold on. Um. Um. Uh. Oh, stupid. Okay. Okay, hold on. I'm close. Um, okay. hold, hold for just a little while longer. I'm so close. Of course, his name is Nelson Riddle. That's such a cool name too. Screw this man. It's so fascinating to know that it's never too late, guys. It's never too late to get good at the thing you want to get good at. It's never too late. If you think you're too old, you're not. If you think you're too old, you're actually just stupid. You're very young and you're dumb. Okay, so the reason that I did that, Eddie says people need to reevaluate their priorities. I mean, it's the internet, so I have to be careful sometimes. I personally have to be careful. I'll take the ownership, whether I actually own this or not. I'll take the ownership of like sometimes when I know people are really passionate about something. For example, Undertale. I could make an Undertale remix of a song and like get a bunch of views or something like that, but I'm also very, very respectful to the Undertale fandom. I have not played that game, nor do I ever intend to play them. So I don't want to like exist in the Undertale space and possibly upset somebody or be like exposed as an imposter or something like that. You know? Like I don't feel like I have the right to remix an Undertale song. And so me making that GameCube thing pissed off a lot of like Nintendo music nerds, and maybe I shouldn't have been there. Yeah, this is me, like I guess playing devil's advocate. Like maybe I didn't have the right to be there in the first place. I should have known better. Okay. Anyways, so there's a man named Nelson Riddle. You don't need to know that much about him. He is white, or was white. He's probably dead. He is what? Oh my God, is he alive? No, he's dead. Sorry, he died in 1985, which is shouts out, shouts out. Anyways, he's a musical composer. He did a lot of like compositions of like big band stuff. Um, the fans don't own Undertale. Okay, sorry, I'm getting distracted. So Neil Breen, sorry, Nelson Riddle, Neil Breen. Who is that? Why did that name come out of my mouth? Who's Neil Breen? Who is this man? I've never seen this man in my life. How did his name come out of my mouth? This is. I shouldn't. I've never seen this man. This man looks like my friend Chris. I don't know why. Anyways, Nelson Riddle. Sorry, guys. Nelson Riddle is the man that I'm actually talking about. Neil Breen is the director. The director of what? What did he direct? Oh, maybe that's why I haven't seen him, because he's a director. Maybe he directed something I've seen. Double Down, I Am Here, Fateful Findings, Passing Through, Twisted Pair, Untwisted Pair sequel. I've never heard of any of these movies. Who the heck is this person? I've never heard of this person. I mean, clearly I have, because their name just came out of my mouth. Okay. Sorry. Sorry. Nelson Riddle. Nelson Riddle is a man. He was a composer, big band composer. So think like Ella Fitzgerald, Frank Sinatra. Think those people, because he literally did compose for those people. So Nelson Riddle, I am very familiar with his music. We all are. You've all heard his music before. He's like the John Williams of American culture. Everybody knows his music. And he has in the original Ocean's 11 film, which I saw this past Saturday. It was a movie. It was fine. It was whatever. But because he was somebody that did a lot of compositions for Frank Sinatra and all of his buddies, he also did the score for this movie. And one, the score for the movie is amazing, because of course it is, because he's good. But also he does the title sequence for Ocean's 11. If you want to hear it, it kind of sucks because the YouTube version of it is out of sync. The YouTube version of the intro theme is out of sync, so it kind of like, it doesn't do it justice, because I mean, like a score, it's specifically scored to the video, and you don't want to, it's specifically scored to the video, and you don't want to, like, look at the video that's, like, out of sync. That would suck. But, I mean, I guess it's not that imperative that you see it synced properly to the thing, but anyways, if you ever want to, yeah, it's way off. Sorry, maybe this isn't even gonna bother you, but sorry. Nelson Riddle did the soundtrack for Ocean's 11, the original Ocean's 11. If you listen to the opening track of Ocean's 11, he does this thing, and I wish I knew what it was called in composition. Like, I'm sure there must be a term for this, but it is very, to me, maybe only to me, it is very evocative of the GameCube startup sound. And since a lot of Japanese composers were like, not, since they were very, very inspired by a lot of American jazz and European classical music, especially when it came to writing music for video games, I feel like whatever technique Nelson Riddle is using in the intro of Ocean's 11 is the same type of technique that was used in the opening of the GameCube console. I could be completely wrong. I'm just speaking from how things sound. I don't really know a lot about music, but I heard that and I fell in love. I love it. I love that so much so, guys, that I've been like studying whatever studying is for me. I've been studying, trying to find more examples of what that is in music to try to emulate it myself because it's just something I love so much. In the same way that I got really into bebop jazz and then I released Signals, I really want to spend some time on whatever that is sonically and um, try it, you know. And so, anyways, can you give his name again? His name is Nelson Riddle. Honestly, if you like YouTube Nelson Riddle Ocean's 11, it'll probably bring up that video of the opening sequence that he made for it. And I guess just don't worry about it being out of sync with the video. Just like listening to it is it's so cool. Yeah, very unlikely inspiration. I didn't even want to see this movie, by the way. Like I was just hanging out with one of my friends in Echo Park, and I think we were talking about, I don't remember what we were talking about, doesn't matter, but Ocean's 11 came up, and they were like, "You want to watch Ocean's 11?" And I was just kind of like, I mean, I don't have anything to do. Yeah, might as well. And we watched Ocean's 11, and it was like, it was, it was good. It was cool, I guess. But the part specifically that really held me was the first, literally like the first 30 seconds of the movie when the title sequence is happening, and I was just like, oh my god, who composed this? And then I looked it up myself, and I was like, yo, this Nelson Riddle, of course he did it because he's done all these other things I like. Anywho, oh yeah, just Eddie listens to it, right, Eddie? It's like I really like it, and I'm going to spend a significant amount of time not trying to make the Ocean's 11 title sequence, but figuring out what that is, because it there's a lot of music theory happening there, and not necessarily a lot of music theory I have, but there's something happening there. Even if I just have to pull it apart from like what exactly is happening, I hear woodwinds. You know, I hear what kind of bell is this? What kind of percussion is being used? I just want to know, you know, because wow, I was sold. Anywho, I feel like that was the last thing that I really wanted to talk about in the stream. I mean, there's types of sounds that you would hear in old school cartoons too. Yeah, right, Eddie? Yeah, like Tom and Jerry. Yeah, yes, yes. Okay, so Noel Breen is a director, but he also stars in most of his movies. He was an architect and decided to make his own movies, and they're all the most over the top, unaware action movies. Anyway, interesting. Why do I know his name? I love like because it's like the the note choices, guys, Jayla and Eddie. The note choices, maybe to a lay person. Not saying that you guys are lay people, probably not. But the note choices to just somebody that's listening to music, it's like these sound like random notes. Like somebody's just going like ding ding dong ding ding ding, but it's not. It is very informed and it is very intentional, and it's just like I need to figure out what it is. Like if you guys know what like a fugue is, like a fugue, like melodically, like a fugue, like having like those two melodies going at the same time. Sometimes it can sound random, but it's actually very, very methodical in its approach. So, Cyber says Neil Breen doesn't know how bad he is, but that's part of the charm because he carries himself like a masterful art actor and director. His stuff is legendary. I'll send you a little digest video. It's not surprising that you've heard his name because he's the subject of many a meme. Okay, cool. So he is like important. It's just I've never seen any of his films. And me having not seen one of his films is okay. It's not like having not seen a Peter Jackson film or something. It's like he's from what I'm gathering from what you're saying, he's like more indie. He's not like are his movies in theaters, or is he like more indie, like an independent director? Because you saying that his movies are like that bad, and like, how does that end up in a movie? But it could be in a movie theater. I mean, a lot of people think Michael Bay's bad, but he's in theaters. Guys, I do have two releases, but instead of focusing on those two, like I have for the past year, I'm going to open things and broaden them to talk about all of it, because we talked about Speed Dream today, which is pretty old. Speed Dream came out in 2016, 17, and so I want to call attention to Love Dream. I mean, everybody kind of already knows Nice Dream. I don't really need to talk about Nice Dream, but go listen to Love Dream if you haven't heard it. Listen to Speed Dream if you haven't heard it. Listen to Tall Tales. Listen to Signals. Listen to Daydream, Lush Dream, Quick Breath, Ego Death, House of Omni. Listen to any of these things, because they all, with the exception of Speed Dream, are available on SoundCloud, Bandcamp, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Google Play, Amazon MP3, Tidal, Groove, Deezer, Pandora, Napster, and YouTube. YouTube actually has some weird other stuff, because Quarantunes and a lot of remix videos that technically don't exist on any DSPs are on my YouTube, so go check those out too. Also, this is a new week. This Friday, I will be doing another production stream. There will not be a pizza party, but there will be a production stream. So, good morning, Isidora. So, I hope to see you guys in the production stream this Friday. I know the production streams can be dull, and they can be time-consuming. They're 6 hours. So, they can be dull, and they can be time-consuming. And they can be sleepy in the chat. I feel like if I took like an overall average of chat activity, the production streams probably have the sleepiest chat. But I do appreciate the people for coming into them. If you ever have any questions about music stuff, which I feel like towards the beginning of the production streams there was a lot of questions. Now people kind of just chill. But if there's ever any questions that you have, the main reason for the production stream, guys, was not so that I could produce live on stream. It was actually to be like a informative tutorial, so I can teach people how to do stuff that maybe wanted to know as a producer, or so that I can demystify the art of music creation for people that aren't necessarily musicians, but just could learn more about how it actually works, how the process works. Because I think a lot of people pause. Isidore, my weekend was. It was okay. It was okay. Yeah, I saw Ocean's 11, and on Sunday I watched a movie called Flying Swords of the Dragon Gate, some Jet Li movie. It was sick. It was like sick as heck. So yeah, I saw decent movies this weekend. Didn't really go anywhere, do anything, but saw some films. I'm paused on what I was talking about. So I feel like the production streams can be informative even if you don't want to produce, just because I feel like a lot of people in and out of the stream will hear me play something and I'm like, oh, this song's great. And they'll go, when is it going to come out? And I do want to show people that it's not necessarily as quick as plugging in my keyboard and then playing a chord progression and melody and then putting some drums under it and then releasing it. There actually is a lot that goes into it. And even for the song that we were talking about every Friday, I guess, the song Dropout. Dropout is approaching now like 50-something tracks, of recording, For those of you guys who aren't familiar with like tracks, it's like parts. Think of it as like parts in a song. So if you had a choir with 50 people in it, those would be a 50-track choir because each person is a track. And so when I'm making a song, a track would be like piano, another track would be Rhodes, another track would be bass, another track would be hi-hats, another track would be snares, And so Dropout is approaching 50 tracks. So it's not, even if what you're hearing sounds pretty simple like some keyboards, usually when I'm actually making and mixing and producing and releasing music, there's a lot of other stuff that's going on behind the scenes. And so the Friday stream is mostly to demystify that for people. How was your weekend, by the way, Isidora? Thanks for asking. I always shy away from asking questions because I don't want to be obnoxious. Good to know. Yeah, Eddie. There is no. I don't think for the production stream I can get annoyed because it's a 6-hour-long stream. If anything, I would prefer for there to be a lot of obnoxious questions than for there to be no chat at all. It's good because like the production stream, I'll do that in my own time. I'll produce in my own time, but it's more of a collaborative community effort, I suppose. I just like seeing the production process. Helps me stay motivated, says Umbe. Well, Umbe, as somebody who says that they have lost a lot of their will to create music during the quarantine, if there is anything that I can do in this year and the next year to relight that fire for you, let me know whatever it is, because I'm also there, Umbe. Like, I don't necessarily want to work on music all the time. It is very rough. One of the main things that has kept me producing and also practicing piano is this stream. So if you guys can do that for me, I can try to do something to keep you guys motivated. My weekend was strange, says Isidora, but today I'm happy because I start work tattooing again. Oh, congratulations, Isidora. That's exciting. Tattoos, tattoos. Tattoos, tattoos. As far as news, guys, nothing. There isn't any. There is no news. Tomorrow I'm going to be back here again. Today, so yesterday I squeezed a bunch of lemons and I got lemon juice, fresh lemon juice. And today I'm trying to make like a lemonade slush ice thing. I'm basically trying to make what a margarita is, but lemonade. I don't know what you call that. I'm making like a lemonade and I'm gonna put in some like blueberries and ice and then like blend it up and try to make like a cool dessert frozen treat. I don't know how this is gonna turn out. I have tempered expectations, but I also learned very recently I had one of those like Scott Pilgrim bread makes you fat moments where like somebody was like, "Hey, that's a lot of lemon juice. Hopefully you can get through before it all goes bad." And I was like, "Should be fine." They were like, "Oh, lemon juice goes bad, by the way, in like fresh squeezed lemon juice goes bad in like 2 to 3 days." And I was like, "Wait, what? That doesn't make any sense. Why?" Turns out, yeah, that's how long lemon juice, like fresh squeezed lemon juice, lasts. I think my brain is so broken by like preservatives, like stuff that comes in the store that lasts for like weeks and weeks and weeks, that the idea of like me squeezing a fruit and then the juice like going bad in a couple of days is, well, first of all, I wish I hadn't squeezed all those lemons. I wish I had only done like maybe 3 or 4 of them to start off, because now I have to like, I've got to like rush through. I I don't know. Anyways, point is, that's what I'm doing today. I'm gonna work on music, of course. Like I have some commissions that I have to work on, but my little fun project is going to be me doing that, and I'm also working on a biscuit recipe. Um, so I'm probably going to destroy my kitchen and make everything's gonna be pretty dirty, but hopefully I get 2 new items that I can now make out of it. Natural stuff is lame. That's why I love science, says Umbe. Yeah, lemons should just have preservatives built into them, I suppose. 2 to 3 days? That just doesn't sound right. Also, what is going to happen to it in 2 to 3 days? Is it going to get sour? Like, what happens to lemon juice if it goes bad? I don't exactly. I'm not saying I don't believe these people. I know they know what they're talking about, but it's just like, how can you tell bad lemon juice from good lemon juice? Anyways, this song's called Hush Hour. I haven't really introduced Hush Hour in a while. Usually I just kind of start playing it. This song is called Hush Hour. There's a video up on my YouTube of me playing this song in a hotel in Hong Kong. Am I? Yeah. That's cool. Anyways, there's a video of me playing this song in Hong Kong with some like video of the highway in Hong Kong spliced together with it. I thoroughly enjoyed my time in Hong Kong, guys. If you ever get a chance to go, keep in mind that you're hearing this review from somebody that only spent a few days there, not months. So you know, there's definitely a lot more to that city, both bad and good, that I didn't get to see. Eddie says gotta bounce. Yeah, Eddie, this is the end of the stream. So thank you for thank you for staying for the entire stream. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Monday. I'm sorry Alfie made it at the very end. I hope that you say you're tired though. I hope that doesn't impede you from enjoying the rest of your Monday. Um, everybody, thank you for being respectful to me and polite to each other. It's the internet, so I know you don't know that to anybody, as we saw from my replies from that GameCube post. Heaven help me. But yeah, thank you for being respectful to me and polite to each other. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Monday. I will see you back here tomorrow morning on Tuesday at 9 o'clock. Sorry. Really weird looking bird. Can you guys hear that? It sounds like a frog. Anyways, I'll see you guys here tomorrow at 9 a.m. Abo, everybody.